your job as the adult and as a parent to foster a good relationship and accept them for who they are and not like have preconceived notions of who you want them to be and then be sad when they miss the mark. Like you have to let them be who they are. So I feel
to a degree though, like,
well, you have to be the parent still, of course, and it's within bounds.
Yeah,
of course,
I'm just
always.
so fucking judgmental now that I have a daughter. Like, okay, so we were watching this show called Sister Wives. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah,
okay.
I used to watch.
Don't need to go about it. It's about like polygamy, but this guy has a teenage daughter, and she has like this fucking spiky at the dinner table. She has like this spiky dog collar on and like fucking rainbow mop bucket hair.
Well, you have to let him do it.
I see. I know. I'm thinking for certain things.
You have to. You just have to let them do it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. Otherwise, they will
dog.
even more.
Dog collars.
Don't
though.
rebel.
No. But here's the magic.
Look, I'm not saying
they'll
I
stop
don't
doing
want,
it once you let them do it.
One back at it, ladies. Thanks for coming on here with me. Little muffin top. Is that
Shots
funny?
fired,
yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Holly's new nickname is Little Muffin Top, based off some very mean guy on the internet on here.
I've adapted to the personality. I changed my name to it.
Yeah, she joined Planet Fitness for Pizza Mondays now. She's working out her obliques every single day, doing curls.
I legally changed my name.
Okay,
to that.
I do want to ask you though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to jump through hoops.
But now you kind of get a taste of what it's like talking about, you know, just pretty much anything and then putting yourself on the internet. Like people are fucking savage.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
there.
And they would never say that in real life. Like
I think that's the funny thing about
and
it.
it's
yeah.
always the most incel motherfuckers that are talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that don't get any pussy at all.
Because they hate themselves and they're like, I'm going to be mean on the internet.
I know. No,
It's me.
It's you.
One of my favorite comments from one of the podcasts we did is when you were talking about short men. And this guy was pissed. He felt like we didn't defend our fellow short kings good enough. And he's like, way to defend your fellow men, boys. And like he wrote like this giant long fucking paragraph though about it, just going in on us. So obviously that guy must not be very tall.
I wonder how short he is. Like we should ask him. Is the comment still there?
Yeah, I could pull it up here. Maybe we'll do it out at the end of the clip. But
yeah,
appreciate you girls coming back here. Emily, Holly, Big Jimbo. Right here, DIY to design, the man himself. So let's get right into it today. This episode, the unspoken truths of modern relationships. How are your men doing, by the way?
Great.
They're doing great?
Yeah.
They're happy?
Yeah. I mean, I think Apples is probably tired from the puppy, but...
Yeah.
Julian's also tired from the puppy.
Did you get a puppy and as a test to see if you're ready for a kid, like pretty much every couple does?
Well,
or did you just want a puppy?
I'm not having kids, so the puppy is my child.
Okay.
I think, no, I didn't get it because of that. But I think I'm correlating. I'm like, okay, is this how it's going to be when we raise a kid if we have kids?
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the fence.
So if women do have that mindset, when you do get a pet together with someone you're in a committed relationship with, you kind of like, all right, let me see how often he takes him on a walk, if he cleans up after his shit. And if he's not doing anything, you're like, I'm not going to have a fucking kid with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't contribute or help at all.
Right. You're like, if this is bad, then, how would a kid be? Because a kid's harder.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Well, and Julian, like, he doesn't want to have kids. Neither one of us do. But like the way he is with the dogs, I'm like, you'd be a good dad.
Really?
But it doesn't. I don't want
It makes you want to
still.
have a kid.
No, I'm good with a puppy.
Why don't you want to have kids?
I hate kids.
Do you? But see, I didn't really like kids either until I had one.
It doesn't matter. I'm not putting that shit out of my badge. I'm not.
C-sections.
I don't care.
They just cut you open, pull it out, sew you back up.
It takes way longer to heal then.
Call it nice and easy. Yeah, nice and easy.
No.
My girl had a C-section and she did natural birth the first time. She thinks C-section is the way to go. For what it's worth. I mean, she's done them both.
Absolutely. I would rather do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You have more risk like tearing your hole from your vagina to your asshole when you push it out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your taint, your lady
gooch.
taint.
I mean, everybody kind of has that perineum.
Yeah.
It's called.
Speaking of baby making, let's talk about why couples start with testing how your baby making skills are when first going into a relationship. Like what I mean by that is, well, a lot of relationships they all start sexual. Like if I can ask you something, person, do you have sex with your boyfriend before you actually started dating them? Like me and my fiance had sex before we even got into any sort of relationship with each other. I feel like that's very common in modern day dating now, and it used to be the opposite. It's almost like it
is the norm.
It's
now.
a standard.
Yeah,
it's like you have
pretty much
you have to test drive.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like marrying somebody without having sex with them, because what if you hate it?
But that's
what if you're just not compatible?
Yeah.
I mean, practice makes perfect, right?
No,
that's not true.
No,
I
don't think so. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't think so either.
See, I think more people now, and maybe I'm just saying this because I'm a dad now, should wait to have sex till they're married.
Well,
yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea. No,
if I could go back and do it over again, like if I could go back and just wait till I met my fiance now, I would.
Right. I mean, but also then you'd have no experience.
Yeah, but.
Okay, wait, you're saying like never having sex with anybody before that?
Yeah, I think you should wait to have sex.
I agree.
I think more people should wait to have sex till marriage, and here's why. It's like, I think about how obsessed you get with that person who you first lose like your virginity to.
Yeah.
There's like a really strong burning fire and passion you feel towards that person, right? Okay, so every partner you add to that now, that extreme attraction you have like dwindles each and every time. So that big fun flame goes down. So exactly. So that first energy exchange is massive, right?
It is.
I talk about your first partner, your very first one. It's like boom, you're so fucking obsessed with them. That breakup like feels awful. But every partner you add after that, though, you don't have that same obsession. So I feel like you should save that type of obsession and passion for your soulmate.
I don't think necessarily you don't have the same passion.
I disagree.
I think it's more just so like I don't want to have sex with any of the people I've ever had sex with. I'd rather just have only had sex with one person, you know? It's not about like whatever you just said.
She just wants to be a nun.
Yeah.
I'm a nun now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question is, so was there a connection first before the intimacy, or was it just
No.
I mean, no. Your first time was no connection at all. Like not a friend or anything like that.
I mean, yeah.
Mine neither, really. I mean,
I dated the person I lost my virginity to for like 3 months, but it was like right after it happened, then I was like, I don't want to do that again. And they were like, you have to. It's a tradition.
It's a tradition.
To what? Have
kind
sex
of tradition?
Or?
Yeah, he was like, now we've done it, so you have to keep doing it with me because now I got my foot in the water and I want to keep doing it. And so I said I didn't want to, and then he broke up with me. Oh. I'm sure you know who it is too.
Do I? Okay, you don't have to say his name. You can tell me after at least. Okay. Going back to it, I do think though, since a better way for the modern relationships to adapt to this, if you do not want to wait all the way to marriage to have sex, you should at least make them wait or work for it for, I don't know, a month or an arbitrary amount of time before you let them hit it. I feel like the sooner you let them hit it, actually, like chances are like the relationship isn't going to work out. Now, every situation is unique or whatever, but if you're unable to save yourself for marriage because you've already had sex and you want to go out to a committed relationship, I think your best approach to start that would be to make them wait.
I would agree. No. Yeah.
So I have a different perspective on this because not than what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my sister is 12 years younger than me, and I see her having sex with.
So can you comfortable telling her just the age?
She's 20, almost 21.
Okay. I thought you were going to say she's like 14.
But like I've kind of watched her like go through, like she's got a new guy that she's interested in every couple weeks or every week, and she's like, you know, I don't know. I feel like she has sex with him and then they're like, okay, peace out. Like I'm not interested in
Exactly.
So I feel like watching her go through that, I agree with you.
Right.
Well, I would have to like pinging off of that, a person of value who lives to their values and their values drive their decision making, and you strive to be that person that you're wanting to be, you're not going to like try to target somebody to get in and get out. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to want to, I suppose if you're looking for a serious relationship, that's why you're getting involved, and you're going to, you know, it's a totally different mindset involved than hitting it and quitting it kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. So I guess from the female point of view is finding those guys that have those values, then they don't have to worry about it because it never gets brought up.
But the thing is that like a lot of men, the way they get women is by pretending to have those values and then not having
like,
them.
I get what you're
back
saying.
to my sister. Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so interested in you," you know, like just talking her up, and I'm like, Olivia,
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I don't care. You're not
I'm
my
like-
sister.
don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're just saying that, and she's like, "Nah, they're totally not." And then like a couple weeks later, I'm like, she calls me and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh," but it. That's
Is she a
what happens.
sucker for a guy with just like who's a slick talker in game? Most women are. I believe like any dude can get any chick if he uses the right
If
words.
they lie, right.
Yeah.
It's called lying. It's not using the right words. Like, be for real. That's lying.
It's called game.
It's not game.
actually.
It's literally being a pathological liar. Like at a certain point, you like believe your own lies, and then you're just stuck that way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
true.
agree.
That's hard to get out of it, too.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're, but now it goes both ways too.
Of course.
Because there's, if you want to call male predator, there's female predators too that look out for that. And
that's
then
just
they
people
they-
behavior.
yeah,
But
they
do
talk good
people
talk,
care
right?
about
Yeah.
female predators? Like, there's
do you
probably a
mean
bunch of
female
dudes on
predators?
the internet will probably be like, "Oh, where are the female predators at?" I want to get.
Female predator.
I want to be a victim to it.
I think that's why some guys don't have a lot of like. It's not that they don't have empathy towards like sexual assault, but they're like, I wish I would have somebody coming on to me like that. And
Okay, but
it's
a
like,
female predator is not going to be a hot chick. It's going to be like a
somebody scary
chick.
that has a mustache.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would say they latch on to you and tell you all the things that you need to hear.
Yeah.
And
Stalker.
then they pretty much like move in and then they're helpless. And then you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's just no getting rid of the leech and you're trying everything to get it off of you. Like the symbiote in Spider-Man 3, or he's like trying to rip
I haven't seen
off.
it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it's weird.
I
It's
believe
opposite
you.
because I feel like usually like the men predators are like really attractive guys. They got game. They're out there lying and they're crushing. When like the female predator is something you do not even want to touch.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was this one time I was bartending and this chick, she looked like she was like came from some meth lab or whatever. She was like super overweight, no teeth, just disgusting. And she was walking around asking all the guy bartenders if she could gargle their nuts.
Disgusting.
I'm not even kidding. She's like, I really need this right now, like begging people. I'm not even fucking kidding.
Where was this
At one of the bars that I work at. I don't want to say which one
That's
I work
wild.
at, but
No worries.
just know it was at a bar that I work at. But that's who I like when we were talking about female predators. She popped into my mind.
Gotcha.
She's a female predator, and like. There's a there's a double standard on that too. Because you can imagine being a guy walking around to chicks like, oh, I just need to like suck someone's pussy off right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Women can get away with that a lot more, I think, when it
Right.
comes to stuff like that than guys can.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, there's a size and strength difference too. I think that
Yeah.
plays a part. If a big dude is saying that stuff, it's like, okay, like you could do that if you really wanted to.
For
I
sure.
don't know how big this girl was, but
Right. No, she was short and fat.
right, she's not doing anything.
Okay, but I've also heard that most women have a rape fantasy though.
Where'd you hear
No.
that?
I've heard it from a couple people.
From people or like on podcasts? Or
No, from women that I know in real life.
oh, well, maybe that's their kink,
Yeah.
but that's individual.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't. You keep attracting that type. I don't know what that says about
okay,
you.
I attract the type that have the rape fantasy.
Right. Obviously, if they're
The-
telling you that.
Yeah, the degraded type.
I mean, there's definitely people like that, but I don't think that's most women.
You don't have any type of rape fantasy?
No.
It's okay.
No,
Okay, don't be shy.
that's definitely not my thing.
Well, let me ask you something a little more personal here then too. This one's not as bad. Who was
Okay,
who was the first one to say I love you in your guys' relationship?
me.
Me.
Were you? Dang. I think my girl was the first to say it as well. Now, did they say it back right away?
No,
Well, okay.
Okay, yeah.
No to Julian either, but I was like, I accidentally said it. And then I was like, I'm sorry, I take it back. And then I'm not going to say
Because he wasn't ready for it then.
But then he said it like a couple weeks.
Yeah. I respect that. I feel like not enough people are brave enough to say I love you first, and when they do, most of them expect to hear it back instantly. And if they don't hear it back instantly, then they start getting upset in their feelings.
Yeah.
They're like saying they're waiting for you to say it.
well, yeah,
Right.
of
Which is
course.
weird.
Right?
Especially if you're not feeling that. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You don't
I've
want 'em to
definitely had
lie.
other people say it to me first. And I'm like,
And you haven't. Yeah.
I'm like,
it can be an
no.
uncomfortable feeling, like, oh shit, what I do. Especially if you're like already kind of thinking like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this
Yeah.
person, and then they drop the I love you bomb on you.
That's how you know get out.
To get out of there?
Yeah.
How did you get out of there without hurting that person? Because me, I always
I don't
feel
think you could probably.
yeah,
You
at that
just-
point.
Like hurt feelings happen. You just kind of have to.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, do you just not talk to the person, or do you say, I just don't think this is going to work out? We should go both ways. Because on the other end of it, I would love to just be open and honest and just be like, boom, close the door, close the book, done, put it on the table, leave. You know,
I think it probably
as a-
depends on the
Yeah, it depends on the
situation.
person. I've probably done both. But
Yeah.
I also like generally just been crazy so that they'll break up with me so I don't have to.
That's the thing. Like
Mm.
women act like crazy so they don't have to be the ones to
Or I just am really mean and then they're like, oh.
initiate the breakup. Yeah.
But what if you like, okay, so you bring out the crazy card, right? And you do a bunch of crazy shit, and then the guy is just like so forgiving and loving and is just accepting. And, I'll
And
just
then
help
you got to pull the trigger for sure.
Yeah.
She's never been with somebody that nice.
Well, Julian's that, but
Julian, yeah, no. But
I'm not 15.
Yeah. How did Apples react to it? Oh,
okay, so
yeah.
what happened was he was out with Dan and he called me, and then he actually did say it first, and then I said it back, and he goes, haha, that was just a joke, and you could hear Dan laughing in the background, and then he hung up.
He was nervous laughing.
He hung up. They were
Yeah.
both laughing. They're laughing at me.
Okay.
Duh. Like I'm the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then he hung up on me, and then a few hours later he came home. I mean, he was pretty drunk, and then he was like, "I'm so sorry." This is when I was staying in Egan,
Yeah.
with him, and yeah, so it was fine. And then he actually did say it, but
Like later that night.
later that night, yeah.
Okay. And do you think he
'Cause was
actually
like, I'm
felt
so
it?
sorry. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I've been in a relationship for so long now. I feel like I forget how hard it is to actually tell someone that. Like,
Right.
you know, that first
Yeah.
time. Like, that's a lot of pressure to tell someone I love you, that who you're seeing
I
in a serious
feel it
relationship.
so-
Like,
I'm just like feeling it so much. Like with Julian, I was just like I felt.
you're like, I love you. And I just want you
literally,
to, and I
was
want you,
thinking it
yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time, and it just came out of my mouth.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
want you to know that.
I think
Yeah.
eventually it gets blurted out if you don't
Yeah.
like intentionally say it.
And if
Mhm.
I
you
don't
don't
think you
feel
can
like
help
that, then
it.
you probably don't love them.
And if you keep
Right.
containing it, like, I don't know, like bottling that shit, like it builds up to be like more anxiety. And
Yeah.
it's like you're building
It
up
gets
the
weird.
big
Yeah.
moments. Like, I
Yeah.
love you. I think people make, I don't know, it is a pretty big statement, but do they make it bigger than it actually is when you
I think
telling someone that.
I think it
Yeah.
means something different to everybody. Because I
Right.
didn't say that to my friends too.
right?
And it's a different type of love, I guess, but it's like still that extreme, I guess. I don't know. Or like it's still
Yeah,
just
I'm
as
the kind of person
strong.
that if like you're a good friend, I'll tell you I love a time.
I'd rather tell people I love them than not. And then what if I die or they die? And then
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't say it.
right.
Or it's like it rubbed me the wrong way that we hadn't yet, because it's like, okay, we weren't living together, but I was there every single day, and we're like
Right.
sleeping together, and like,
So that is the thing that some women do, like when you've been seeing a guy for a while.
well, yeah,
you're
it's
like,
I do feel
when's this
that
motherfucker
way.
gonna tell me he loves me?
Well, it's like I do feel that way, and I don't want to be with somebody if I'm not telling them that, and like if they don't feel the same way. I'd rather just tell them how I feel, and if they don't feel the same way, we can be done
Right.
and not waste our time. You know.
So if they don't feel the same way right away, would you want to be done then, or would you give it
No, I mean
a
it
little
would
longer?
probably just take a conversation then if they weren't, you know, or whatever. But I wouldn't be dealing with it for years if I'm saying it and they're not saying it back.
Oh,
That would
fuck
be weird.
no.
Right.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah. If you're in like a 2-year-long relationship, they still haven't told you that you love
That's
them. They
kinda-
love
Yeah.
you yet.
Okay. How long do you?
That's
like,
kind of
what's a
how my
normal-
sister
What's a
is.
normal time to wait for you guys?
Like a month or maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm kind of
Oh,
like
they
Emily.
love
When I
me.
start seeing someone for the first time, like I want to spend like all time with them. Like
Me
I definitely
too.
probably get like head over heels a little bit, like quick. That's just how I am.
I'm kind of like that too. That's
What
a red
about you?
flag maybe though.
So my last relationship, it was 4 years before we got engaged. And then I didn't say I love you. It was like 9. It was about a year in.
Jeez, that's definitely
That's wild.
way
That's late.
longer
About a
than
year.
I have
Mine
ever
was
Yeah.
like
gone
3 months.
without
yeah.
saying
Yeah, I
it.
would say 3 months is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my relationship was a
Yeah.
long distance relationship.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
So
fair,
I would
though.
fly in and she would fly back.
Okay, that
and
makes sense.
then we would go on hikes and things like that. So it wasn't an everyday occurrence. We'd see each other probably once a month for a weekend.
That makes
So
sense.
I suppose, 6 months maybe.
And then were you
mean,
the
that
first
makes
one to say it in that relationship too? Do you remember?
She said it.
She said it first.
She said it, and then
It
I
must be a normal thing.
and then
for
I
women to
said
say
it back to her.
first.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, she asked me. So we were on a boat trip in New York, and we were going through the harbor.
Mhm.
And she said, "So are we official?" And I said,
Ooh.
yeah. And then that's when it was, and she said she loved me. That's how it happened. It was kind of a
sparks flew.
Yeah. So
kind of a
are we
thing.
doing this or not question?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose it was a year.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
makes
so,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always give props to you for doing the long distance relationship. I mean, I've known that you had that, they didn't, but
Oh, nice, man.
I'm someone like I don't think I could do it.
No.
Like,
I'm very like
yeah,
I want to hang.
get a little closer to the mic there. Yeah.
I want to hang out. You know, I
Right.
don't want to be. Yeah, no.
Yeah, quality time is like a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Not that you can't do quality time, like you can FaceTime and stuff.
It's not the same though.
Dude, FaceTime feels like it takes so much energy. A little off topic here, but like I was thinking about the other day, like my mom always wants to FaceTime me and the baby.
Yeah.
And then just and no, I'm always just like, oh fuck, FaceTime, like compared to just like calling her.
Right.
Mhm.
My mom does that too.
Yeah.
And I'm always like looking like shit. And I'm like, she's going to know that I'm a piece of shit. You know, she's going to see me and she's going to know.
She's gonna know.
Especially like when I was smoking more. Like I was like, oh, she's
Yeah.
calling me and I'm stoned.
Like if you're FaceTiming your partner, I feel like that's how you know it's real. Like they're putting in energy
Mhm.
like that. But going back to your long distance thing though, without getting too far off topic, like I feel like I would run out of things to talk about. Like because that's
No,
you know
I feel like you would have more things to talk
Yeah,
about
'cause you
because you're
don't
not
see each other
hanging
every
out.
day.
You
So
would.
like,
Yeah.
and then you're with like,
I mean, it makes your time a
Distance
lot more
makes-
special.
Yeah.
yeah, and
It
distance
does.
makes the heart grow fonder. You know,
It
so
goes-
like you can
yeah.
build the relationship up before the physical stuff,
yeah,
which is probably almost better.
which ties back into like what
Right.
we've been talking about like at the beginning actually. So you guys
Right.
really almost spent like a time just falling in love with each other's personalities.
Right.
Yeah, you
All
got
you were doing
Yeah.
was talking, and you didn't have that intimate, like didn't have sex right away or have that physical connection right away. So you actually had to fall in love with that person's
Well-
like soul.
actually that was right away before. any of
Okay.
the other stuff.
Sorry.
Well,
But
that's
that
why you
was,
started talking.
Yeah, that's how we. Yeah, but I was there on vacation. That's how we met. So the scenario was a little bit. It's not like your usual run of the mill thing. But yeah, as far as like a long distance relationship for a year, it was more quality time, but it wasn't real time. It was I'm gonna go on a adventure weekend, and she's gonna come here and go, and we're gonna go on an adventure weekend.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like real life living together.
Right.
No.
It's
You know, it's
living.
vacation, fun
Yeah.
time, and getting to know the person that
Yeah,
you're.
it's hard to have
interested in.
fights when you're like having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're always in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's kind of nice though.
Yeah, it was great. I
yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
And and she ended up moving here, and so then you get to
And
really.
then he broke up.
so
with her.
then
Well-
is that so? Yeah. Is
Well,
that what
my
happened?
scenario is, I mean, a lot of family tragedies on her end,
Mm,
Okay.
and she ended up leaving the country. She's from South Africa,
okay.
and she has gone through multiple family emergencies within the past literally 2 years, and
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was just too much compounding with COVID and everything else. So
That makes sense.
yeah, there's just a lot of things that happened. So
Huh.
is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, you really get to know someone though when they move in with you. That's like the final test of the relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like because you can spend every day at the other person's house, like while you're still dating, and you
Mhm.
still don't like truly get to see like their bad habits, how they take care of the bathroom, or
Right.
just their everyday, like their true self. But
Yep.
like once you actually move in with someone, like that's when you really get to know who they are. Like that's when you get to know the person that they don't show to like the rest of the world. I feel
Yeah.
like it's when you actually are living with someone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like when Julian would come
Mhm.
over, I would like when we weren't living together, I'd have time to like shower and like
Look nice.
look kind
Yeah.
of cute, like
Clean up a little bit,
homeless but cute,
Yeah.
And then now that we live together,
You just walk around, no makeup on
well,
ever.
I never, yeah,
She
Yeah.
never wears makeup anyway.
but like, I mean, I'm definitely a lot grungier now. I don't care because he's stuck with me. He lives with me, so
Yeah.
and he has to move out if he leaves.
dang, she's
Dang.
got the upper hand.
So.
how long does it take from the I love you to the let's move in together phase?
I think it kind of depends.
Yeah,
Like I waited a little bit longer this time than last time by like a full year, just because I was afraid that once we moved in, things would go bad right away. And then yeah. So I waited like an extra year, but I feel like after like a year or two is normal.
So my fiance actually opened my mind to this topic a lot. So she is on the side of you should only live with someone if you're married to them, actually. And I like the logic behind that is because if you start dating someone, right, in like a serious relationship, and then they move into your house with you, it can get really easy to just like, oh, we're just playing house for like the next like 10 to 20 years of our life. Like when you're going to put a ring on it and actually like commit yourself to me. And then it's like, it's really easier to break up on that. And then there's all the finances and shit like but not counting that, just the fact that you could just be stuck playing house with someone for a really long time. Like I never thought of it that way because I was that dude that would move in. Like I've lived with three girls that I've dated. And yeah, I can't see how like, yeah, it's easy for me to just move into there. Oh, we broke up. Okay, I'm moving out now. You're stuck with rent, all this shit, but because you hate me now and stuff. Yeah.
But
is your boyfriend calling you?
No, it's probably my Wise camera going off because of Ivy, probably.
Okay. I thought we were making him upset.
No.
Well, what about are you?
No, yeah, I'm done.
Do you have wedding bells in your future here, near future?
I mean, yeah, we're trying. That's the other thing we talked about actually. So we're trying to get engaged sometime this next year because going back to the whole like playing house. No, so we are sorry, we are engaged. I mean, actually getting the marriage part done here because if you don't get it done soon, I also feel like it's easy to get stuck in the engagement phase for like 5-10 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, like me and Julian have been dating for 3 years.
Yeah,
almost 3 years.
And you live together too.
And we live
so
together.
You're kind of like in that scenario where it's like you guys could be playing house with each other for like the next 10, 20 years.
Like, and I've done that before.
Yeah.
You know, like I was in a really long-term relationship with somebody and it took a long time for him to propose and like, and then by the time he proposed, I was like, I don't even give a shit.
No, if I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to wait that long. Like I know I want to be with you for the rest of my life. So put a ring on it. But then it's like, you know, the economy is so fucked up. I also want to get a house too eventually and like do all these other things. So it's like, how do you save for all these things and like plan for them?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think most people should just do courthouse weddings now. That's what we're talking about. Like, because what do you want to do? If you're like struggling with finances, what do you want to do? $20,000 wedding or have $20,000 towards the house?
Right. I'd rather go on a vacation, you know? Like I don't want to spend that money. It's just a party. Like just throw a party. Have some hamburgers.
Yeah, you can have a nice get together in your backyard and do it up nice and make it look good and string up some lights and do it for a decent price and make it. I also agree.
Yeah. Did you take care of business? Sorry. She had to talk to her boyfriend. He's upset. He's not invited.
My phone is in here.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to lie.
Yeah. What now? Like after you get the ring on the finger, like how long is needed before marriage? Like, can you stay engaged forever? Or does there have to be a wedding?
Engaged forever.
No, that's what I was saying. Like ideally within a year. Like
Oh, see, I'm not like, I don't feel like that.
It kind of depends on like how much you want to like plan and shit like that when it comes to what do you want to do for the wedding. We were already having a kid first. We had to so that was the focus, before like planning the wedding and all that stuff. But once the baby was here, I've definitely been pushing it. So it's she. They were like, we should at least like, even if it's go to the courthouse and go on vacation later, because we both believe like it's easy to get stuck in the engagement phase, and then 5 years goes by, and then when you guys are really starting to like kind of just get sick of each other, I feel like there's a lot of ups and downs in long-term relationships, and once you're like actually married, it makes it a lot tougher for like you guys to break up.
Yeah.
Like when you're not married, it's really easy to leave because like, okay, so I'm just going to move out.
Is that a good thing? Or, like, because if you want to go,
I'll stay to my detriment.
Go, I don't want to hold somebody hostage with a marriage, you know, like if you don't want to be with me anymore after some ups and downs, like go ahead, I don't want to.
You should have to renew it every like 10 years instead of like divorces.
Automatic, force you to renew your vows. Make sure you still love each other.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
because I'm on the other side of the fence where I would love to commit to someone and here you go, but I don't want to get married because that's a forever thing, and the last one like bankrupted me.
Yeah.
So like, what's the point? Other than just wasting money.
It's all a money thing now.
Well, and why is the government need to be involved?
Taxes.
Why does the government need to be involved in my marriage or my relationship? Like I don't really believe in that. Like you could just give me I'll take the ring.
Yeah, I want a ring.
I just am good. I mean, eventually I'd like to get married and have a party and do all that and go on a honeymoon. But like once I have a ring, I feel like I'm good for a few. Like there's other things that I want to do and I don't trust the government and I don't know why they need to be involved at all.
You don't get a tax break or anything unless you have a kid, but you could get more as a single, being single and claiming the kid than married.
Be more as a single mom.
Yeah, you get taxed more. The only thing it's good for really is like if one of you have really good health insurance and one of them is sick.
Yeah.
That is helpful. Or at the hospital, like nobody's gonna take you serious if you're like, no, but they're my boyfriend or whatever. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Like they're dying.
Especially when you're having a kid or something. We
yeah.
No, so my girl felt awkward because when we first had ours, so she already had a kid when she was 16. So, but like all the nurses would come in and would be like, "Oh, congratulations! Is this your first?" And she would have to be like, "Oh, his first, my second." And she just felt like really awkward. And there was every single person like asking us
That's
that.
exhausting.
That would come
I would have
in.
just been like, yes.
Yeah, it made her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times the things that people ask you in general, like when people say, you know, we're 30. I don't know how old you are, but
we're 32 almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget about that.
I know.
But, you know, people are always like, oh, are you going to get married soon? Or are you going to have a baby soon? And it's like, mind your business.
Yeah.
Like, does it matter?
But like for women, it kind of does. The baby part does
Having
matter.
yeah.
You are on a biological clock.
But why does everybody want to know about it?
Because they don't know what else to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also agree. I think they're just making small talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so weird though.
And I think they're trying to just be friendly.
Yep.
And they're trying to find something that they can connect with you on so that you might be excited about something so that you can share with them something that you might.
Yeah, it's a way to connect. It just kind of misses the mark a lot of times or rubs people the wrong way. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate kids.
Right.
And then people are offended by that. You know, they're like, whoa. And the thing that bothers me is when I say like, I'm not having kids. And then they're like, oh, well, you might regret that someday. Or
and you might, you don't know.
You'll live an unfulfilled life.
You'll probably regret it either way. Regret's a normal feeling.
Yeah. Or like, you know, and I don't know. I feel like childless women have a lot more fun than women.
They
with
do
children.
at the age when they're at your age because they have all that freedom. I think it's when it comes in the later stages of life. It's when you really start feeling regret.
But I work at a senior living facility and I see a lot of people that didn't ever have kids and they have a lot of friends and people that are there with them.
They have more people visit them usually.
Yeah, a lot
the
of
ones
times,
that I've taken care of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people who do have kids, their kids don't come and visit them. And it's
Isn't
like,
that fucked up?
I fucking birthed you and you don't even want to take care of me or come see me when I'm dying. Like, fuck that. I don't want that kind of heartbreak.
You get what you
either.
get and you don't throw a fit. You might have a kid that doesn't have any similar like interests as you and you guys just butt heads and you don't get along.
I know.
But it's also like your job as the adult and as a parent to foster a good relationship and accept them for who they are and not like have preconceived notions of who you want them to be and then be sad when they miss the mark. Like you have to let them be who they are. So I feel
to a degree though, like
well, you have to be the parent still, of course, and it's within bounds.
Yeah,
of course,
I'm just
always.
so fucking judgmental now that I have a daughter. Like, okay, so we were watching this show called Sister Wives. I don't know if you've ever.
Yeah,
okay.
I used to watch.
Don't need to go about it. It's about like polygamy, but this guy has a teenage daughter. And she has like this fucking spiky at the dinner table. She has like this spiky dog collar on and like fucking rainbow mop bucket hair.
Well, you have to let him do it.
I see. I know. I'm thinking for certain things.
You have to. You just have to let him do it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. Otherwise, they will rebel even more.
Dog collars.
Don't
though.
rebel
No.
more.
But here's the magic.
Look, I'm not saying
they'll
I
stop
don't
doing it once you let them do it.
No, I'm not saying
too.
I don't want it to like.
Let everybody else be bullies
and be like a little like liberal with like their style. But there should be some standards.
No, that's not for you to decide though,
No.
because you're gonna just push them more into like becoming a fucking drug addict or something like crazy. They're
coping
gonna just
with
go
not
off.
being accepted by their parents.
If you let them do it and then their peers just bully the shit out of them, then they'll stop.
Or
they'll stop on their own.
Or they'll start cutting themselves and shit because now they got kids bullying them every single day at school.
Well, actually, no. The
because
reason
you told them no too.
Yeah,
so.
it's because you didn't accept them. That would be like a cut.
No, and this is coming from a guy like I raised a daughter from 3 to 18, and the more you accept it, the more she will stop doing it.
Yeah,
reverse psychology.
It is. Yeah. It is.
And she just wants to know that you'll love and accept her
no matter what.
No matter what. and you're there to just be her backup. You give her the tools and the beliefs, and you raise her the way that you want to raise her. And then you give her the ability and the freedom to make her own choices. Yep. And she will test them and test them and test them. And then as long as you're open and honest and accepting, she will fall in line when she's ready.
Yep.
Yeah. The nice thing about kids these days is they have the internet.
Job. Thank you.
And people will fucking troll them. So like,
yeah, they'll get
if they're doing
fun of on
stupid
their
shit,
own.
they're gonna make fun. People are gonna make fun of them.
Yeah, they'll stop.
And they'll stop.
Yeah.
They won't be that weird forever. I was really, really weird.
I used to be weird too.
I was
I
so
know.
weird.
Like I remember, like when I think about like school, like how people cutting themselves with such a face. I know like a lot of my good friends that like did that shit. I thought like I recently started thinking about that. Now that I have a daughter, I was just like, man, what if she goes through that phase?
I mean, she might.
You know,
She might, but just love them through all of that weird shit.
No, I think you do need to have some sort of standards of strictness for. I'm not saying don't let them explore anything, but like dog collars at the dinner table.
What about you, man?
Was she wearing dog collars? Was she wearing dog collars and shit?
No, well, I
there's levels to it, is what I'm saying.
Hold on a second. She later on she went and she actually got shot in the eye with a paintball gun by her idiot boyfriend, and she was like 15 at the time, 15 or 16 at the time, older, and was not letting us get to her to call the police, right?
Yeah.
Or to get her to the hospital. And then, she was drunk, and he didn't want to drive her to the hospital because he was going to get in trouble. Right. That kind of bullshit.
Yep.
And I'm like, we don't give a shit. We would just want to make sure that you get medical care because you got shot in the face.
That's why you have to keep things open.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them lying about that stuff.
Yeah. When you are
person.
overprotective, they lie. I was the best liar. My mom was crazy.
And I didn't lie about shit really. And my mom was just there.
No, I agree with that.
And my dad too.
Going back to what Holly said real quick, I will agree with like being a really strict parent. It teaches like kids how to lie because they're gonna want to go and do shit, right?
Yep.
So you're almost like training them to be really good liars and having them figure out how to get away with shit.
Yeah.
Compared to like when you sit at the dinner table and just letting them be open and honest with you with everything that they did, even though if a lot of it's gonna piss you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you because I was struggling with Shailyn, and it got to the point to where I just wanted her to be open and honest, and she actually got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a friction point there for a while that I just didn't want to let up.
Right.
And every time she got caught doing something that she wasn't supposed to be doing, or she lied about it, I'd take something away, and then she ended up having like nothing left, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't working.
It doesn't work.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely not. It didn't
No.
work. But what is your have you experienced that in your rebellious time?
I was grounded all the time. I didn't have any of my stuff ever, literally all the time. And it just pushed me and my mom apart, and I wasn't like a bad kid or anything. I wasn't doing anything that crazy, but like, I didn't feel like I could talk to her about any of the
You were afraid. Were you like afraid of your mom?
Oh, absolutely. I'm still afraid of my mom. What do you mean?
Right.
I'm terrified of her every time she calls.
Yeah, that's scary.
But we have
I
a lot
would've
more
died.
better. We have a lot better of a relationship now because I've set boundaries with her. So, I mean, I think when there's boundaries in place, and I don't know, you just have to expect people are going to be their own person no matter what, and they have to figure out life through all this shit. Like that's how we learn. We do stupid shit and we learn from it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's really stupid shit that we do. So,
how was your girl's relationship with your dad? I saw a good post actually. It was about how a daughter's like her first love is always her dad. And this is something that I'm trying to like reflect on and been taking more seriously of like how I treat my baby mama like in front of her. I feel like if you're like my parents, they really bickered a lot and fought like growing up. Like they're still married. Like don't get me wrong. Like I have a really like some of the best parents in the world, like really lucky to even have both in the household and have them be married all this time. But they definitely fought like a fuck ton. So much to the point, I don't think they thought that it would affect me as a kid growing up. I don't think I did too either. My mom triggers me a lot. Mm-hmm. My dad used to really like yell at my mom, and they used to get in these really big fights. And when I reflected back on it, now that I'm older, I feel like in a way my dad taught me like, okay, this is how I can treat your mom, so this is how you're able to treat her too.
Yep.
So like
it does.
Even little things to this day like trigger me. I think it's because growing up in that really bickering like household going. So the one thing that I'm like trying to start doing now is treating, like, even if I'm really fucking pissed off at her, like if I'm in front of my daughter, like just treating her like a queen. So then she gets under the impression like, okay, this is how a man should treat me.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's okay to like, I mean, it's hard when you're super angry to talk in a respectful way, but like, I think the important thing for kids to see is like the repair. Like, it's okay that mom and dad disagree because they can argue through it in a calm way. And then we get over
they can
it.
talk about it.
They can talk about it, because it's like, I don't think you should necessarily like hide you can't hide all of it from your kid, but you can teach them that like, okay, even though mom and dad are mad at each other, like we still respect each other because we love each other.
Avoid like raising your voice and yelling and like really getting into those big fights.
Or
like I remember
like,
my parents get
later. We'll talk about this later, and then go, and not then slamming doors and being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And
dude, I remember I was just telling my girl this the other day. I remember my mom was so fucking mad at my dad one time. We like went in the car. She's like wrote him this note how we were leaving. And she's like, do you want to go to the movies or the hotel? And I'm like a kid. I didn't fucking know anything. I'm like, let's go to the hotel, because that just sounded more fun to me. Unlocked now that I have a kid, and I'm trying to think like,
that's
fuck,
really cool. This
like,
is a healing opportunity, Doug.
Is it?
Yeah,
big time.
big time. That's I think a pro to having children is being able to like heal yourself through them by raising them better.
Yeah.
And thus, if there's any negative cycles going on in like your family, then you can kind of heal that and stop the cycle there. Because like for me, I come from like really dysfunctional type family stuff. So like if I did have a kid, I think it would be healing, and I would probably unlock a whole bunch of memories too.
Right.
And yeah, no, that's a huge opportunity to just like do better than what you saw.
I completely agree with everything you said, with the with the part of, if you plant a banner and you're like, I'm going to make sure this never happens, right? And then you try to heal to that point to where you're trying to save your daughter from the thing that you had to deal with.
Yeah.
She's going to go in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a balance act of it. Yes.
Yeah. You have to, you can't all be self-serving in it. You just have to like,
there's a line, and you have to be balanced in there.
Right.
Definitely.
And knowing where that line is very, very.
Yeah, because otherwise you can actually traumatize them on accident. Because I don't think my mom was trying to do it on purpose.
Do you feel like your mom traumatized you, or?
It was definitely my mom, not my dad. My dad was more, I mean, he's just been the same the whole way through, and he's always been there for me if I needed him. But like, I think he's just really tired all the time. So he's kind of airheaded a lot, to the point where it like was kind of a joke. But like, I love my dad. But my mom, we were just really codependent, and I became like her caretaker. Yeah. Especially emotionally. Like, as long as my mom was okay, I was okay.
Sure.
So that you can't put that all on like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old.
No.
And expect that for their whole life. So that was traumatizing, but she didn't mean to. But now looking back, or like
nobody teaches you how to be a parent either. So it's her first time being a parent, and like it just sucks because like child gets the butt end of the deal, you know?
Well, and you're an only child, so your mom,
I got all of it.
You got all of it.
Yeah, I'm an only child too.
Are you?
Yeah,
I'm the 4th for my mom, 1st for my dad.
Out of 4, or like 4 out of 5, 4 out of 6.
I'm the last. I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Yeah, But then I'm my dad's only child. But he adopted all my siblings when they were little.
But you're a great dude, Doug. Like, I mean, you have.
You hear that, Holly?
You have style. You got the body. You've got the attitude.
Keep it going.
And I'm saying, like, you show up. You do hard work. Like,
you're a hard worker.
You have a lot of good qualities, and as long as you raise your daughter with love and let her make her own mistakes, and then you be balanced, have fun being a dad.
Enjoy it. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're gonna
it's so crazy. It's like God, I don't even want it. Dude, I'm not even kidding. We were talking about homeschooling like a few weeks ago. It's like,
you
see all this shit on the news, dude. With all the like,
schools are fucked up. That's what I'm saying.
Now. It's like, oh God, I don't even want to leave the fucking house.
Daddy's gonna come home and want to pee in a cat box.
Yeah, or like now they're all like, Phil, one of the really good friends, he's got nieces and nephews that are like, they're going to school and they're other like boys and like other girls saying, oh no, you're actually a boy, I'm a they them, all this weird shit.
Right.
Could you imagine, like, we didn't go through like
no, that was very confusing.
It's just 15 years.
That's my nephew
right now. What the problem is?
He's trans and he's not trans.
Yeah, no, it's a really
and he's doing homeschool.
Like,
the problem is that they're teaching our kids that's
they're
planting the seed.
They are.
And that's the problem, is because we
Then
never
there's
had
second-
that problem, and there was gay kids, and like that's great.
That's fine.
But when you're teaching kids about all these different pronouns and like it's bullshit.
Well, and it's
honestly.
normal to then second guess yourself and be like, wait, am I actually this or am I this? And then to be confused and kind of lose your identity too. It's very hard.
Especially when you're like trying to figure out who you are.
Right.
And you know, and somebody tells you like, oh, well, this is okay. And you can do whatever you want. But I have a friend she's young. She's like 19 and she goes to school at the U of M and she's in a gender class and like she can't write how she feels in her gender class on these papers or she'll get a bad grade.
Because her opinion differs.
They want her to, they only want people to think a certain way. Like you're supporting the trans movement.
You're with this or you're not.
Yeah. And if you don't support that, then you're being oppressive and they give you a bad grade. And she's like, I literally am scared.
Okay. I got a question. So did they make her take that class? Or was it like, you have to get this credit for this class? Or did she sign up that on her own?
It's part of her.
Wow. So they're making.
And I had to take that class too when I was in psychology and they taught a little bit, they touched on it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like she is having to write papers on it constantly and she can't actually say how she really feels. So it's just crazy. They're just manipulating people into thinking this is okay.
Is really getting to a scary place.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the thing that's crazy is I feel a lot of people, like a majority of people feel the way that I feel about it, which is I think it's absolutely insane to be teaching kids about pronouns and sexuality.
Me
like
too.
What the fuck is that?
Well, especially when you look at reading and writing and math proficiency, like dude, it's like under 50% in high school. It's like there's a lot of kids that don't even know like basic fucking English and are failing in a lot of classes, don't know basic addition. And they're spending time like teaching them about like pronouns and like you could be a boy or you could be a girl.
You could be
and
it's like zoo.
Right.
Like just making your own shit up.
It just becomes
it's like
really
you can't even write a complete
too,
paragraph.
Overly self-focused. It's like, okay, sure, you can be whatever you want, but can we get back to like what you're supposed to be learning and shit? Like, who cares? I don't give a fuck. Nobody cares what you are except you.
And the parents don't have any rights either. Like parents don't get a say whether like, you know, I feel like they're taking the power away from the parents and just like putting it on these teachers that, you know, are implementing things that, you know, parents don't necessarily agree with. And it's just crazy, honestly.
I would have to say, I think like, so Doug, you're able to work remote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a very good skill that you can work anywhere you need to with, and you have 5 years. So if you properly plan where you want to live, that doesn't have to deal with this kind of BS. Like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, they don't teach their kids that in South Dakota.
Yeah, or like where I'm from, I don't think they teach that
Yeah.
either. It's a small town.
And vote with your wallet. Bankrupt these municipalities that are teaching this stuff. People move away. Let it turn into a Detroit or a Flint, Michigan, or wherever you may need it to be. And then they'll get the hint that we shouldn't be doing this anymore. Like vote with your wallet. You know, people want your skills elsewhere. Go there.
I know. It's true. I think about moving a lot, dude, but it's hard when you've lived here your whole life. Then I don't really have it. But then I don't go out and really hang out with my friends. Like this is what I do for like the social settings for hanging out. So I'm like, okay, why would I care about like moving?
Right.
You know?
It's usually family. Everybody's like family.
Yeah. See, all my family's in Texas.
Well, go to
I
Texas.
want to go to Texas.
Yeah.
I've been looking at places in Texas, but
Austin's cool. It seems like everyone there.
Okay, but Austin's probably teaching gender classes.
Oh, right.
Over there.
I mean, but you
that's
go to
the one area in Texas that's probably
for sure.
like.
I know.
If we're talking about moving to vote with our wallet, you don't want to move to
Texas
Austin.
will be blue in 5 years.
Oh yeah, maybe even sooner than that.
Probably this next.
Pretty much everyone from California like moved to Texas this past year. Austin fucking blew up. I'm trying to think if there's any other places.
What about San Antonio?
No, I was just thinking. So that's where my parents live in San Antonio. That's been pretty good for the most. But see, I don't know because I don't really pay attention to like the school systems and shit like that and what they're doing down there.
Yeah.
I just know Austin. I feel like everyone knows Austin is the super blue city, a part of Texas.
Well, is the triangle majority blue?
Was that like
the Texas Triangle?
Was that
it's Austin, Houston, and Dallas.
I would say Dallas is probably still red. I have no idea about Houston.
I mean, that's
No
the most
idea.
populated area in America, that triangle.
Really?
I think we're going to
Mhm.
see, though, like in the next couple of years, a huge change in politics. Like people are going to start seeing how and I'm like a pretty democratic leaning person. And like all this shit is making me be like, what the fuck is this?
I agree. I still
both sides are bad. I just can't even entertain either one.
I still consider myself a Democrat and definitely more on the liberal side for sure. But like you said, it's almost like I think a lot of Democrats are feeling this way, that shit's just getting too extreme now with it.
Right.
Like I think there's a lot of Democrats also that don't think they should be teaching their kids gender studies and shit like that.
No.
But you're on that team, and that's what the people at the top want to do.
That's what I mean. That's why parties aren't even.
Yeah.
It doesn't really represent the people anymore.
No,
because
not at all.
Like, and it's all about money. But I just don't understand like what's the reason for the transgender stuff, because there's a lot of people that like end up mutilating their body on accident.
Well,
there's like a big risk that comes with the actual sex change, and you may never be able to like orgasm again in your life.
A lot of people are coming saying that they wish they never done it.
Yeah. Well, you never hear about those stories. Like you have to actually go looking for, like, you always hear about the stories of like this person became a girl and now, you know, she's the best. You always hear like the happy stories. You don't hear about the people that started the transition and like it ruined their fucking life and they want to go back.
We don't know if it causes cancer or something later on in life to like block hormones for years when they're supposed to be going through them, or you just don't know it.
I think the whole point of it is to break down the family structure. So like you have a less strong family structure, people have less to fight for. Right. You know, like if you break up the family, then what is there to live for?
Right.
And so then we can work harder. We can, you know, when war comes down to it, like people don't have anything to fight for. They're not going to fight. We're going to just, our country's going to fall apart. And I don't think it's necessarily like, I don't really understand the whole thing, but I think it's definitely to just,
there's a deeper meaning for it, and that's
for sure a deeper meaning, just like there is to everything.
I just don't get it. Like, what is the benefit there? Just to keep people
making us easier to manipulate.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have families.
Maybe just seeing if it will manipulate people if you throw it out there.
Well, in China, before Mao took power, before they went communist, they made landowners evil. All the rich people were evil. And then they destroyed the family unit by making everybody nationalists for the Communist Party, and they took away all the music, and they made art and creativity. Individualism was bad. You had to be group thought and group think, right? And I see a lot of similarities now. Just it's in different forms, right?
But the opposite, right? Because they're taking away individualism when here we're promoting it so fucking hard.
We're separating people.
We're promoting people to be individual, like as a single unit, not even as a community. Like there's commercials now, like you don't feel good, you might just be lonely. Reach out to somebody if you feel this way. Like it's literally a commercial reminding people that they might be really isolated, probably ever since COVID. But it's like so easy for people to be isolated and sit on their phone and not be around people. And that's an issue too.
And I think it has a lot to do with like big pharma, you know, and medical. Like they're making a ton of money off of depressed people. They're making a ton of money off of these hormones, making a ton of money off of Ozempic. Like, let's tell everybody that they're
fat. Is that the new weight loss thing that like all the celebs? My uncle,
it's a diabetes medication.
When we went to Texas to like bring the baby down to everywhere, my uncle was taking that shit.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
You can take it for diabetes.
I don't know about females, but I actually heard the statistic, and it was on a podcast on YouTube. 45 to 50% of all males over the age of 40 are on some sort of medication. Like half of all men in America over the age of 40 on prescribed medication of some sort. That's insane to think of how many people that is.
I mean, just look at how many people are prescribed Adderall.
Yeah.
Oh, that went
There's
way
literally
up during
a shortage.
COVID, which doesn't make sense. What did you want to do? Sit harder on your couch?
Yes. Dang, zone out on more of the computer. Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
I don't know. Bake banana bread.
I think
harder.
It all is connected, and you can't see that. Then open your eyes a little bit more, because it's just our world is fucked, and the people who are in charge of everything aren't there for us.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that we'll all kind of realize that, though.
Yeah.
It's like everything has to crumble before it can get better. Yeah. Like it really, I mean, it is going to go to shit, but it needs to in order to.
And then you'll realize like how important it is just like having a family in the household is, and just like your local community,
right?
As well.
It's
like I've lived now. Okay, when I was living in Minneapolis, I've granted this is not me for not even trying, but like, dude, I lived there for like 5 years and didn't even know my neighbors' names.
Right. And that used
Like
to
there's
be
no
unheard
local
of in the
community
past.
anymore, I feel
Right.
like.
And local
Right.
community was huge
Yeah.
back in the day. You always knew your neighbor.
When I was
They would
growing
watch
up
your
as a
house for
kid,
you.
yeah, like I would go over to my neighbor's house. They had a kid that was like older than me, but still we knew like everyone in our
You
fucking
could like
block.
walk in the
Yes,
house. Yeah.
walk around. We knew everyone.
Yep.
Nowadays, I feel like you do not even know your neighbor's name. No, you
Nope.
want to talk to him. You're
Nope.
like, oh, I think he's a fucking serial killer.
That's what Justin thinks of our neighbor.
I thought my neighbor was a cop for like the first year
He
that I lived
pretends to be
there.
a cop. It's
And then
even
I
worse.
started talking to him more, and
I
he's
think-
totally not. He just grows weed. He's an old guy.
But he
Yeah.
has like a cop.
He has a cop car,
Oh, did he buy like an old cop car?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
pretending.
but he's
Yeah.
literally so nice.
He's a wannabe cop.
Yeah, he's a wannabe cop.
Hey, those are cheap cars. They're actually taken
Yeah.
care of, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, we gotta wrap this up. It was fun though. I wish we could keep going here and talk about all these topics, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Next time we should talk about a little bit more about like actually what's going on in the world.
I'm
'cause
down.
it's fucked up.
Do you want to do that? I feel like we
That'd
got
be
into
fun.
that. Now it's fun, like better than talking about what we were
Yeah,
just
I
talking.
don't like
doing the
talking about
relation-
the other stuff. I
As
want
much?
to talk about
This stuff?
stuff,
Okay.
yeah.
You just
Yeah.
well, you gotta let me know then too.
Conspiracy
You know,
theory
because I
stuff.
don't know what.
I'm a huge
'cause I-
conspiracy theorist.
Because see,
so
Oh,
Oh.
no. I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah,
no,
let's
no.
get into
No,
that.
honestly, because that's what
That could go deep.
that's what we did talk about. Like, oh, it's just like government conspiracy shit. Like when we first saw this podcast, that's all we did talk about. We just started trying this relationship stuff because that's like that was getting the cloud
was
onto
the
I think
YouTube.
thing.
That was again the cloud on
cloud
YouTube.
now is like what's happening in the world. Like people are confused. We're all trying to find answers. We're all trying to find something that we can like cling to, you know?
Okay, next one we're talking about the world. Oh yeah.
And that's by design,
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
the people up top know what's going on, and they're just
Right,
doing it
right.
up.
Well, it's a plan. I
Yeah.
think it's all pre-planned. A lot of it's pre-planned.
We're just
Like they knew
rats.
we were going to have a pandemic before we did.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
Bill
did, for
Gates
sure.
gave a lecture on it like in
Absolutely.
2018.
Yeah. Well, and the monetary system, when you look at it, I mean, it's the end of our monetary system.
Right.
And so
Yeah, we're
they're-
coming to a
it's
new
going
age.
down. And every time that you have problems with money, you have wars, famine, pestilence,
Yeah.
plague, you name it, you have
Let me
it.
just say, remember I said this, I think gold will be important again. I think
It
it
will 100%.
This guy owns a shit ton of gold.
Good,
What?
I'm glad you
I
do.
don't know.
No, just, yeah, I don't know what's up. I mean, never mind. He doesn't own anything.
No, he doesn't.
Buy
Yeah.
gold.
You're going to get robbed.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
delete that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
I got you. Anyway,
No, I think gold is going to be prevalent
Yeah.
again.
Solar eclipse. We'll see what happens. Lunar?
Why is Elon Musk lighting off 3 rockets?
The
during
CERN, they're
the
turning on
solar
CERN. They're
eclipse?
lighting off rockets. Like something's
That's
going
fucking
down.
insane.
So we'll check back in after all this shit goes down, and we'll see if we're still here.
sounds good.
we'll still be here,
Big
but
Jim, got anything
aliens
else?
will be.
We'll send it off with.
It was a pleasure with all of you here today.
It was a good time.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
time.
it was fun.
Time.
Night,
Short and
choose the
sweet.
Doug life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Doug life